Hi, my name is Steve Bruno. This is the Intervention Channel and part 2 of When Children Are Involved. Now, we were just talking about Amanda in Paris. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and watch part 1. So the addict had come in, the cousin had read her letter, which was a beautiful letter about all the reasons she loved the addict, her loved one, and what she missed doing, what she missed seeing him do. And he was moved, but not a lot. I mean, you could see that he was realizing that this was a big deal. You know, at this point, his friends had flown in from other parts of the world. So in walks Amanda. Right in the middle of this thing, she just walks in, sits herself down on the couch, doesn't look at me, I think quite deliberately, looks away from me, and was sitting next to her sister, the addict's cousin. So I thought, well, okay. I mean, I had two options. One is let her sit there. Two is kick her out. But the family was so close-knit, I decided I'd better let her sit there. I didn't want any problems with a 13-year-old girl in the middle of this process. So I figured, well, okay. And she takes out this crumpled little piece of paper. It was the most endearing thing you could imagine. She takes out this crumpled piece of paper, uncrumples it, and reads, "Uncle, I cannot imagine my life without you." Right there. Wasn't a dry eye in the house. The addict, her uncle, broke down. He got up, he walked over to her, they embraced. He said, "Okay, I'll go. So, I am not saying that if you have a 13-year-old that he or she should be involved like that. I mean, Amanda took it upon herself, but as you can see, as you can hear or imagine, we got a good result, and that's really all that matters. And she sealed the deal, I'll tell you. Now, if we hadn't had her there, could we have had a letter from her? Yes. That her sister, the addict's cousin, would have read. So there are ways to do this. All right, I promised to get to the subject of babies. Tantamount to any other consideration is the consideration of the child. The child is not better off with an addict because of how much the addict loves it. I don't care how you want to justify it, but you certainly do not want to leave a child with a drug-using addict. We've talked about how there's no going back once you've planned the offer. Well, the same goes with, in terms of a child, if something happens to the child, right? You've got someone who's using Oxycontin, fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, drinking, and what? Caring for a child? Caring for a baby? Please. If you were looking at a family, let's say you were introduced to a family and someone said to you, okay, we're going to have you meet this family and you can give them any advice you want. And you meet this family, and the mother of this baby, you see, is addicted to drugs. The mother is addicted to drugs, and she's using. And the family is waffling, right? The family is like, well, but they're so close, and maybe she's better off with her mom. What would you advise the family to do? Oh, please, leave the baby with the drug-addicted mother. That's the best thing to do. Of course not. So imagine yourself giving advice to the family and take that advice. You've got to separate the baby from its mother, father. I mean, that's very rare, but I mean, really what I'm talking about is babies and their mothers. In terms of custody, I can't speak to all the legality, and certainly I'm not an attorney, so I can't speak to much of it at all, but From what I have had to deal with in terms of an intervention, you should speak with an attorney if you're able to do that and get legal advice in terms of how to go about proving that a woman is incapable of taking care of her baby if you can't get her to agree to go to a program. Now, there are programs that specialize in handling situations where there is a baby involved. There are programs that specialize in this. There are even some programs where a mother can have her baby there at times. I think there's nurseries and different things involved. They're not that common, but if you look them up online, you'll find them. So look them up. You can go to samhsa.gov. I call it samhsa.gov. The acronym is actually SAMHSA.gov. And you can go there. There's a facility locator. You can call them and see if they have some suggestions. That's for low to no cost places. It's not somewhere I recommend as a first choice. Certainly if you're able to afford treatment, you're not going to get the quality of treatment that you probably are looking for there. But if they do have a line in on some places that have mothers and that kind of a thing, actually you can find some quality places in that respect. But I would not use that as a resource to find a treatment program for your loved one and think you're getting off the hook. Our government doesn't fund good programs, period. Our government funds crappy programs. I'm sorry, government. I'm sorry, crappy programs. But that's just the truth. The programs that I work with are private pay. In Europe, many parts of Europe, if you have a drug problem, they'll pay for a really nice treatment program. We don't do that in the United States. We don't have socialized medicine. So you get what you pay for. There's no free lunch. There's no free lunch. But that is a good resource if a woman has a baby. I was doing an intervention in Anaheim, and we had a case where the mother of the baby was living in a tool shed. It was sort of a glorified tool shed with her drug-addicted boyfriend. Lovely, right? So we called Child Protective Services. We let them know this was what was going on. We were spying on the girl. I don't typically do this, but in this case we did. Watching her with these binoculars. The baby was in the other room. She was smoking meth. The mother was smoking meth in another room. We let the Child Protective Services know, and they asked, well, are they in the same room together? No, she's in a separate room. I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. Just, what? So you need to be careful what you ask for in terms of involving Child Protective Services. What will most likely happen is the person will get a visit from them, now making you their mortal enemy, her mortal enemy, and Child Protective Services will not take the child. They will not take a child simply because a woman is addicted to drugs or alcohol. Now, the policies may be different in your area, but what I would do is actually go to the office of a Child Protective Services, call them and ask first. Don't just report and think that they're going to go and enforce some morality upon the person that you're trying to help. They won't. So get information from an attorney about custody. I wouldn't use Child Protective Services unless the baby is actually in physical danger, in which case, of course, you want to do that. But above all else, look out for the welfare of the child. Get the person into a program where you can bring the baby to visit. Do not put the mother, into a program that's right down the street in order to accomplish that, because you'll have the danger of her leaving the program and coming home when she has a bad day and she's feeling missing her baby. So, okay, that's some advice on handling interventions where there are children involved. I hope this has been illuminating and educational for you. There are videos on many other subjects. If you still have questions, feel free to visit my website, stevebruno.com. Ask me questions by filling out the contact form. You can also field questions in the comments section below. I do have a book that I wrote called More Than Hope, Intervention Guidebook. That's available on Amazon and Kindle. There is a link below. You can click and purchase that or download it. And above all else, don't give up, don't give in, don't give in to apathy or panic. Please consult with me if you have any further questions. And again, thank you for watching.